Buongiorno mondo! Cominciamo la giornata! Salti energizzanti! 1, 2.
Is playing with digital Lego bricks as fun as playing with the real ones?
That's a good question. I think playing with any Lego brick is fun. The problem with real bricks is many times you can't afford all the bricks that you want. There are thousands of bricks in the Lego library. But what you can do is you can play with something called the Lego Digital Designer, or LDD, and we did on the film. And that gives you access to all the bricks in the library. You don't get to actually touch them, but you do get to click them together and you can make some pretty amazing things. And that's what our artists and modelers did, is they used LDD to build the vehicles and the environments that we see in the film using this digital tool. It's free to anyone to download. It runs on multiple platforms. And when asking them, they said it felt like playing with Lego every day, but you didn't have to buy all the kits, so it was great.
Sì, caffè super costoso. Sono $37. Meraviglioso!
Everything is awesome.
Adoro questa canzone!
Everything is awesome.
With the special effects going more and more towards realism, how did it feel to put that goal aside and plunge into a world made of Legos?
Okay. One of the things that I loved personally, and I had nothing to do with it, were the effects in the Lego movie. And by effects I mean the explosions, the water, the smoke. I loved that the directors and the art director decided that they were going to do all of the effects with Lego bricks. And it was the inventiveness of the effects team that I think was just remarkable. I used to sneak into their dailies and just watch them blowing stuff up because it was just fun to watch all these Lego pieces flying around. For me, early on, it was also the water they were doing, the pirate ship going through the sea of bricks and the wake of those bricks coming out. It was just so inventive and it was so creative, and it didn't look like anything else that I'd worked on, because so much of what we work on, we want to replicate real world effects, the real look of water, the real look of smoke. And this was taking a stylized Lego version of it, and it was a lot of fun to be part of that.
Dove sono?
Vieni con me se non vuoi morire.
For the Lego movie, you created a variety of very different worlds. Which one was the most difficult to create and which one was the most fascinating?
Wow, these are good questions. For the Lego movie, we did have to create a bunch of different environments. The story takes us from Bricksburg, where Emmett grows up, we go to the Wild West, and then we end up inside Emmett's brain at one point. And each one of the environments had a different challenge. For the Wild West, it was a huge challenge in terms of the number of bricks we needed there to create the canyons. So some very smart people at Animalogic created what we called Legoscape, which allowed us to create these buttes, these messes in the desert, and the canyons that we go through. Early days on the film, it was close to impossible to render those, but some very other smart people came up with our own renderer. Actually, Max Liani, who's Italian, wrote this renderer for us that could handle that. So the challenges of the big cities and the canyons were a technical challenge because of the number of bricks. Artistically, I know the art director, in trying to come up with what does it look like in Emmett's brain, I know they went through some design iterations there to sort of say, well, what is this place where it's this void? The whole joke was that there's nothing in Emmett's brain, which makes him perfect to be the special. But how do you represent that visually? So I know that was an artistic challenge. Modeling was extremely simple. It was just planes of semi-transparent bricks, but from a conceptual idea, it was quite difficult.
Cosa?
Non ha mai avuto un pensiero originale.
Non è vero? Ecco a voi il divano a castello! Così tutti guardano la TV insieme e sono amici!
How did you get to the very original style of animating the characters in the movie?
For the animation, we embraced the stop-motion nature of the minifigs. Each minifig has only 9 degrees of rotation, so they have arms that can rotate from the shoulder, for example, but they can't bend at the elbow. They can twist their wrists. Same with the legs. There are no knees. You can't bend the knees. You can only bend from the waist. So I know the animators struggled early on to get the kind of expressive performances out of those characters, but we realized the limitations actually helped with the overall look and style of the film. And once we kind of cracked that and we understood how to create a variety of different walks and runs and give personality, individual personality to our main heroes, Emmett and Lucy and Vitruvius and the others, it was then that we decided that, well, this was actually a good thing. All of this restrictions actually were helping us craft a film that really looked like it had been created with actual plastic bricks.
You worked on several projects concerning Star Wars, from the new trilogy to the series of the Clone Wars. Aren't you involved in the new project by Abrams, and what did you expect from the new movie?
I was involved in the Star Wars prequels. I was the animation director on those films, and then I did spend some time in the Clone Wars. I started off as a fan of Star Wars, so when I was 13, the original trilogy started to come out, so in 1977, and then Empire Strikes Back in 80, and then Return of the Sith, Return of the Jedi. See, I'm getting all confused. Those films I was a fan, and I loved going to those films and being swept away into those worlds. That's going to be the case for me, J.J. Abrams. I have nothing to do with the new Star Wars films. I spent a lot of time on Star Wars, close to 10 years or maybe slightly more, working on Star Wars, and I love that time, but I'm also very happy to be doing things like the Lego Movie now, which allows me to stretch my creativity in other ways. So when JJ's film Star Wars 7 comes out, I'll be lining up and buying one of the early tickets as a Star Wars fan and sitting in the audience and just watching the amazing creativity that I know that he and his team will bring to the film. Sure.
Alla Batmobile. Accidenti.